Sentry mode activated. Target acquired.
Hey there hunters, and welcome back to the Gunners Guild. So we're just a few days away till Iceborne, and if you're interested at all in trying ranged weapons, well hopefully I can give you some info and kind of what you need to prepare for Iceborne. We aren't going to cover how to use the weapons because, well, there's plenty of tutorials out there and gunning's not all that complicated. What we will cover is what weapons and decos you want to have ready, as well as some more Iceborne changes to bowguns that you should be aware of. And obviously if you're going to try out gunning, practice using the weapons in the meantime, or at least familiarize yourself with the controls prior to diving in. Anyway, let's go down this rabbit hole. Starting with bow, since honestly it's going to be the fastest. For equipment, bow has a ton of options, depending on what bows you have. Let's start by saying that the current bows we have should be sufficient enough to get you through Master Rank. I highly doubt the next rank of bows is going to be immediately better, and so much so that we're going to have to drop our current bows right away. So with that, the Arc-Tempered Kulftaroth bows, the Khajar ones, should be a priority to farm if you don't have them already. And I mean all of them, every element. Well, maybe not blast, but do it just in case. Not only are they good all-around bows, but with the elemental motion value nerf that's coming to Iceborne, pure element bows might not be as powerful as the hybrid raw element ones, so Khajar is perfect. And for the most part, they can all run the same sets, so grind out AT Kulf while you can. Now obviously Kulftaroth gear isn't going to get upgrades immediately, it'll probably be a few months down the line before we see Master Rank Kulftaroth. So the Master Rank versions of our current bows and the branches for the variants and new stuff will be our first weapons we're going to be playing with. So you may want to make as many bows as you can, but if you don't have that kind of time, well, there are a few that I'd make sure to have ready. For fire, obviously the Anjanath bow, because, well, it's the best bow in the game, and not only will it still be solid in Master Rank, but because we're going to have Fulgur Anjanath, it's probably going to branch off that tree, so make sure you have it. We didn't have a good Thunderbow until Kulftaroth, so Fulgur Anjanath has a chance of giving us our replacement Thunderbow for the time being. Now Puke's bow is another one I'd craft and get ready for as well. Not because it's good, because it's not, it's terrible, but because Coral Puke is going to be a new water elemental monster. And our water bows have been pretty terrible without Cold as well. So there's a chance that the Coral Puke will be the new water bow. That or the new water elder dragon, but who knows. Ice is obviously Legiana, and not only because Legiana is an amazing bow, but Shrieking Legiana will branch off that too, if not be the immediate upgrade to it. So you're probably going to want that one upgraded as well. And finally, the Devil Joe bow. This one is going to be good, not only because it gets an upgrade obviously, but because of the element nerf, it's going to make us have more balanced bows, and it's already got a ton of raw. And also because of the element uncap. Currently this bow caps at 2 ranks of dragon element. It's pretty low, but uncapped it's going to be a lot better. Being able to run 6 dragon on this bow is going to be great, even with the nerfs. If you haven't played bow much, you may not know what materials you should be bringing on hunts too. First, power coats, so get 1.5 million of those, but also nitro shrooms, as you're going to be burning through these things constantly, so stock up as much as you can. Other coatings are not super important, but you should keep a stock of those at least. You shouldn't really need to craft more of the special coats like Sleeper Para, just go back to camp if that's the case. And of course, everyone's favorite, dash juice. You're going to need dash extracts and a lot of them. You can farm them from Diablos and Black Diablos as well as Itzy Yaku. Investigations probably work the best here, as you can get 2 from silver rewards and 3 from the gold rewards, so farm away. But also you can use the melder to trade them, which is a lot easier. So if you have like 7,000 Bushi tickets from all the Kulftaroth runs, you can just trade those in for dash juice. You're going to want to stock up on those. Side note, you can also do the classic Monster Hunter dupe method on that and just farm a bajillion that way. Google it. Okay, that's pretty much it for bows. It's super gear dependent, so get to farming. And if you want to look into bows more in depth on maybe how to use them, tutorials, build guides, stuff like that, I have a ton of videos of that up, but you can also check out Jinx and Tuna's videos on the bow as well. But let's move on to heavy bowgun. For what it's worth, Glutton will still be fine to get us through Master Rank, but if you don't have Glutton, don't worry too much about it. As I mentioned earlier, there's no way we're getting Kulf upgrades until later down the road, and while Glutton is great, I'm sure it'll be outclassed by some of the new stuff. But with the bowgun changes, I have no idea what it's going to look like, but based on my own predictions, I have a few bowguns I'm going to make sure I have ready. The first being the Ore bowguns. Chrome Assault 2 is a decent all-around bowgun for normals and slicing, and can use non-elemental boost. Master Rank version may not be meta, but it's decent enough to have ready for normals, and on that same line, it upgrades into the Nergigantes heavy bowguns. it was the best spread 3 heavy bowgun before Glutton, so there's a fair chance it's going to be good again with Master Rank version, or Ruiner Nergigante's bowgun. Next is the Shattercrest for Legiana's bowgun. Obviously this bowgun is for Pierce, but I have a feeling that Pierce is going to be pretty great in Iceborne. Getting a motion value buff and 2 new mods to help it out with the scope and the long barrel. This is the best pre-Kolv bowgun for Pierce, so the Master Rank versions and the Shrieking Legiana version will probably be solid as well. Also, the Anjanath bowgun. Not used much in the base game, but the extra mod slots may make this the new spread 3 bowgun for a while. 2 recoil and 2 reload mods means 7 clip spread 3 on recoil 2 and normal reload speed. Probably the best we're gonna get until we get Kolv upgrades or maybe Fulgur Anjanath. Plus, Fulgur Anjanath variant could have anything, so they just want it for that too. And a personal choice, Teostra's Artillery. The best Wyvern cannon in the game. Very niche I know, but if it gets a nice raw buff, then Wyvern will still be a thing. Come on Teo, I love you, love me back. Let's make this bowgun great again. For mods on the bowguns, don't worry too much about that, but the general rule of thumb is that you pick up your primary ammo and slap on recoil and reload until it's recoil 2, or 1 if you can get it, and normal reload speeds, or fast if you can get it. Anything else, pretty much slap on a close range mod. Yes, we'll get another mod slot to play with in Iceborne, but who knows how we're going to set up the guns, so don't worry too much about it right now. Armor is going to be a little odd here too, because right now Xeno Gamma is pretty much mandatory because spare shot, so pretty much all the sets use it. So 3 pieces of Xeno Gamma, Nerd Gamma boots and chest, or Gala head, that's pretty much all you need for gunners. However, since spare shot got nerfed, I have no idea if it's going to be worth using anymore, so we may have to change the sets around, but there's no way of knowing until we get to try it. I think we'd probably go close to the bow builds in that case. We'd just swap out Xeno for like Kolv waist and Draken gloves, and yeah, same old stuff. So light bow guns. Thankfully we have a ton of options here. Firstly because Elemental looks like it's going to be pretty good ammo again, but Pierce is looking good, normals were already good, and spread is spread. So yeah, anything goes on light bowgun. Let's start with the raw ammos. For spread light bowguns, Juratotus is still a bowgun I'm advocating. It's fantastic, has no flaws, I love it. It does it all. Spread 2, spread 3, stickies, sleep, para, water. The best thing is that with 4 mod slots, we can use spread 3 with normal recoil and normal reload speed. So yeah, it's gonna be good. Joe and Foul bowguns will definitely be stronger still, but normal reload speed, spread 3 light bowgun is what I'm hyped for. Now for normals, I'm still going with Karma unless we see something better, just because Master Rank Odo and Ebony Odo should give nice upgrades here. I'm hyped to see what the Ebony Odo clip sizes are like. And for Pierce, well, the Great Bowgun from the arena was our go-to, and then Sticks from Luna. But honestly, I'd probably just have Sticks ready. We'd need a good new Pierce light bowgun to be honest. The base Thunder light bowgun was decent, but the raw was awful. Maybe a new Toby light bowgun will suffice, but who knows. For elemental ammo, we're pretty much stuck with the Kajars because free crit element is super important. And now that raw scaling is better on them, it's even more important not to waste slots getting crit element. So I have no idea in this department except for Anjanath light bowgun. It's going to have crazy good raw and elemental damage since it's going to have recoil 1 fire MO on fast reload. Since MO meta is entirely dictated by the bowguns themselves, we could have anything be meta. Who knows? I mean, okay, poison MO is probably not going to be meta, but anything else is up for speculation. Last few things, now obviously gunners are pretty decoration heavy for making sets, and their decorations are pretty rare, so it's not too surprising to see people without 4-shot or spread up decorations. However, whether it's good or bad, it looks like MO skills are going to be 2 ranks down Iceborne. So if you don't have 2 of each of these MO decorations, you may want to keep farming for some decos. Though we don't know what the values on these are going to be. It could be a nerf with the bonuses being 5% and 10%, I wouldn't be surprised. Or it could be a buff at 10% and 20%. Either it's going to be more mandatory, or pretty much not used at all. So use this information to decide on your own. Other things like Max Might change is honestly going to be pretty good for gunners. We can run Max Might 4 for 40% crit and be just fine. We shouldn't have to roll too much, especially Light Bowgun who can just strafe most things. And even so, we get that grace period of it being on after a roll, which is going to help. Gunners are going to like Max Might, I'm sure. So make sure you have that base covered too. Bow needs Mighty Bow decoration. It's mandatory and everyone should know this by now, but make sure you have that before you start using bow or you're just gonna hate it. Now I'm not sure how much bow sets are gonna change, since with the MO decoration change it could be huge for bow, good or bad. We could not have to run so many decorations if it's a nerf and we just toss it out, or we might have to double up and have 2 4-shot and 2 spread up decorations, and that's just gonna be murder on the slots. There's no point in theory crafting armor sets at this point, and to be honest, our current sets will suffice long enough, so I'm not really planning on making stuff until endgame, so I'll just kind of leave you with that. Oh, also, don't forget to set up your radial menu, which is super important for gunners. Set your radial menu to type 2 so you can click R3 to craft rather than release it to craft. It's not going to be so much of an issue now since in Iceborne we do have the option to put a craft all button or a craft 1 button. This way we can just press once to craft all the power coatings rather than have to mash it super hard, so thank you Capcom. Other options aren't a huge deal, control should be a personal preference kind of thing, but we also will have a lot more control options for reticle speeds and aiming speeds and stuff in Iceborne, so you may want to wait for that. That's all for my expected gunner weapons and prep thoughts, so thank you for watching and good luck out there hunters and whatever crazy ass shit we may be hunting in 10 days. Jesus Christ, come on already, let's go!